Hello and welcome to ITV News Meridian. Tonight's headlines in the southeast. Albanian migrants crossing the channel in small boats won't be able to claim asylum. The Prime Minister outlines his plans.
New legislation making it clear in law for the first time that if you come here illegally, you cannot stay.
Strikes and ice hit train services across the southeast, the first of 12 walkouts planned over the festive period. And why Boki the bear cub, rejected by his mother, finally has a place to call home. Good evening. The Prime Minister has announced new measures which he says will stop asylum seekers crossing the channel in small boats. A new organisation, the Small Boats Operational Command, will take charge of patrolling the channel. People from Albania will no longer be able to claim asylum, and next year the law will be changed so nobody can claim asylum if they enter the UK illegally. Phil Hornby has our report.
Rishi Sunak says dealing with the small boats is his top priority, which is why he chose to make these announcements himself.
A new Small Boats Operational Command in the Channel deals with Albania and France. Cheaper accommodation, tougher immigration enforcement, and new legislation making it clear in law for the first time that if you come here illegally, you cannot stay.
2 years ago, just 50 Albanians crossed the channel. So far this year, it's 13,000. Albania's not a war zone, it's trying to join the EU. The government say there's no reason for anyone from Albania to claim asylum. And people won't be put up in hotels for much longer, the Prime Minister said. They'll be moved into disused holiday parks, student halls and military sites.
Having tough but fair border controls and an asylum policy is exactly where the British people are.
Labour say we've heard it all before. The government have failed.
The unworkable gimmicks go on. So do the crossings. We need to bring this to an end. That means a proper plan to crack down on the gangs, quick processing, return agreements, serious solutions to a serious problem.
The best way to stop desperate people dying in small boats and the criminal gangs is for the government to promote more safe and legal routes.
The Prime Minister knows he'll be judged not by his words.
Enough is enough.
But by results. Today, he staked his premiership on solving the small boat crisis. Phil Hornby, ITV News, Westminster.
The first of 12 planned rail strikes in December and January brought much of the South East network to a standstill today. And in Kent, many of the services that did run were disrupted by ice and snow. Here's James Dunham.
After a strike of snow in the southeast, today's walkouts brought winter woes in Dartford, one of just a handful of stations open. While in Brighton, services were almost frozen, industrial action wiping out 80% of the timetable.
I spent 70 quid on a week's ticket and I can't even use it, so it's quite annoying really.
They don't realise just how much it's impacting the rest of us.
Everybody's kind of behind them. I mean, we're all feeling the same pressures.
Since June, the RMT's been in 2 negotiating battles, its members rejecting a Network Rail deal which included a 9% pay rise over 2 years, thousands of job losses and cuts to maintenance work, while disagreement with the train companies centres around a reduction in onboard train staff, ticket office closures and pay.
What we need is people of goodwill on all sides. We're ready to make a deal. I think the companies are ready to make a deal, funnily enough. I think the obstacle is some of the ideologists in Whitehall and in the government who won't facilitate a deal.
The railways aren't financially sustainable without a significant amount of reform to go along with a fair pay deal for the workers. And so that's what the deal needs to be struck here, is reform plus a fair pay deal. And I think if any objective person looks at the deal on the table, it's fair.
Tuesday morning rush hour at Brighton Station, and as you can see, the concourse is pretty empty. Not an uncommon sight on strike days because, of course, people have the opportunity nowadays to work from home. But with more industrial action planned in the run-up to and over the Christmas break, it's likely these walkouts will start to have a much wider impact. At Canterbury's Christmas market, they've got trains for sale, just no actual ones bringing potential footfall.
It's always a worry, you know, there's a lot of people further afield and it's sort of the biggest city in a quite a decent catchment area, so I think it would have an impact.
With further dispute talks planned, the gift of a strike-free train service will provide relief for thousands of people and businesses this Christmas. James Dunham, ITV News.
Live now to Kit Bradshaw at Sevenoaks, one of the few stations in Kent running trains today. And Kit, it looks like there's much more of this disruption to come.
Yes, this isn't just an odd strike day here or there. What we're looking at is sustained disruption on the railways over the next 4 weeks. This current strike lasts all day tomorrow too, affecting much of Kent and Sussex. Then there's another 48-hour walkout on Friday and Saturday, all adding up to something of a logistical nightmare before Christmas for our region's train companies.
So from the 18th to the 2nd of January, RMT members will be taking action short of a strike, which means they won't be working any overtime. So I'm here sort of advising passengers that if they're travelling in that run up to the festive period to potentially expect some short notice disruption to their journeys and check their train times before they travel.
There are other strike days planned after this week too, including on Christmas Eve. So the message really is that if you're planning to travel on the trains this month, do check before you travel.
Kit, good advice. Thank you very much. Well, as well as causing problems on roads and rail, freezing conditions have also closed schools for a second day. 38 schools closed or open late in East Sussex. In Kent, 34 open late and 6 closed all day. A contraflow system along the M20 will be deployed overnight. Operation Brock was postponed due to the heavy snow, but is returning ahead of the Christmas period. Parts of the motorway will be closed from 9 p.m. tonight, reopening at 6 tomorrow morning with the traffic management scheme in place. Police have issued pictures of 4 men they want to speak to after a series of distraction thefts in Sussex. Pensioners and women have been targeted in bank card thefts at supermarkets in Crawley, Hove, Horsham, Haywards Heath and Rustington. Now, a bear cub shunned by its mother at Port Lympne Wild Animal Park in Kent has today taken his first steps at a new home. Boki has been welcomed by the Wildwood Trust near Canterbury, where he has a new enclosure to explore and some new companions. Abigail Bracken has been to meet him.
How to move a bear cub weighing 10 stone? With the help of the keepers who hand-raised him, taking a handful of nuts and patience. Boki was rejected by his mother at Port Lympne Wild Animal Park at just 3 months old and had to be looked after by keepers in his own enclosure.
We were in a situation where we've looked after him and got his welfare going and stuff and everything, but we know that he needed social interaction, and the best way forward for his welfare was to try and find somewhere else for him.
And after a 22-mile journey, Boki has arrived at his new home here at the Wildwood Trust in Herne Bay, and he's making himself at home. Where keepers hope he'll eventually live with the bears next door.
This is the opportunity we'll have to integrate with other bears and learn how to be bears, be a bear. Essentially, because he's semi-hand raised, he's very used to people, and he'll need to be a bear. He's going to get that through following other bears.
And now, with so much to explore, this cub is already a very happy bear. Abigail Bracken, ITV News, Herne Bay.
Well done, Boki. Well, the cold snap continues. With your weather now, here's Philip and Drew.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello there. It's been another bitterly cold day out there today, and the cold conditions continuing for another couple of days yet. But there are signs of a change as we head into the weekend, becoming more unsettled, but also temperatures showing signs of recovery too. Not the case out there at the moment though. It stays dry and clear for most of us overnight. And with those clear skies, we'll see another widespread frost developing, temperatures generally below freezing, and the potential for some stubborn fog patches to form as well. So a bitterly cold start once again tomorrow, frosty underfoot, perhaps some icy surfaces to contend with. As we head through the day, the frost gradually lifting, bright or sunny spells coming through, but the sunshine is not going to help the temperatures. Tomorrow's highs perhaps just 3 or 4 Celsius for many of us. But then we see the change coming our way. So I think cold conditions prevailing right through until Friday. As we head into Saturday though, the jet stream starts to shuffle its way northwards, introducing something a little bit less chilly, but also bringing with it something a little more unsettled too. So bright and frosty for the next few days, turning increasingly unsettled, but somewhat less chilly through the weekend. Bye-bye.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
And in just a moment here, the ITV Evening News with Mary Nightingale. Matt will have your late update at 11 this evening. For now though, from the team here, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.